to look inside one of these baby beehives. This is called a nuke. It was created by me by taking some resources out of a bigger, older hive and putting them in this box. And one of those resources was a queen cell that had been made by the big hive. And so over a matter of a couple of weeks, that queen cell matured, the queen hatched, she went out and mated, she came back, and she started laying eggs. And once she does that, then that becomes a fully functional beehive on its own, and I can take it and move it into bigger equipment out into the field. We're going to check this one and see if she's doing what we hope she's doing. But first, before we open the hive, we're going to get a smoker started. Inside here, I have twine and some coffee bags. And for all the years I've been doing this, I still can't keep them lit. But there you go. You can add some green stuff to the smoker to get it to smoke a little more. And you want that cool, big, puffy smoke. You don't want flames coming out the end. The flames will just aggravate the bees. So we start our inspection by poofing at the entrance, and that causes the guard bees at the entrance probably to go inside and start eating, but so they can't talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And then we put a little smoke inside the hive. So we're pulling off the lid, setting it aside. And this is what stands in for an inner cover on this little baby beehive. Keeps the lid from sticking too hard to the frames. Here are the 5 frames that you would find in a nucleus hive like this. And now I'm going to use my hive tool to pry things apart, because they're always stuck together. And I'm going to start at an edge, because chances are the queen's in the middle and I don't want to harm her. So I'm going to start at an edge and see what I see. Okay, this is a beautiful frame of brood. Underneath each of those wax cappings is a larva that is maturing into a worker bee, like the bees that are walking on the surface. These are all workers. They're female. They're daughters of the queen. And this bee right here is a male bee called a drone. One little fun fact about the drone is that he does not have a stinger, so you can play with him and impress your friends and without any chance of getting stung. Now this frame is exactly what you would want to see in your beehive. It's got a lot of, there she is. We lucked out. There's the queen. You can see she's longer. If you look closely, she's got thicker, hairier legs, and she does not like the sunlight. She's lives all her life in the dark, so she's trying to get away from the sunlight. But she's always on the move, looking for an empty cell to lay an egg in. That's why she's got that long abdomen, to lay an egg in the bottom of the cell. So some people like to put a little dab of paint on the back of their queens so they can find them quickly. So we've lucked out in our very first hive, in our very first frame. We've seen most of the players. Now if I were going to take this hive apart and inspect it even more thoroughly, I would actually take out my cage and I would cage that queen, stick her in my pocket, and then whatever I did, I could be sure that she was not going to be injured because she's safely in my pocket. This is an empty frame, and these are probably workers, foragers who are hanging out. Coming and going. See how slowly I'm moving? I'm giving the bees a chance to get out of the hive. and out of the way so that I don't squash them. Right here is pollen. It's difficult to see in the camera. We can get some bigger pictures. But this is the meat for the bees. It's part of what they feed the young bees in order to give them the protein they need. And it comes there. There's a pollen forager. Do you see the little clump of pollen? She is looking for a cell to remove those little clumps of pollen that are stuck together with nectar. And she will stomp that clump of pollen and nectar into that cell with her head. So she's investigating that. I'm looking for a little honey. I don't see it too much right now, but we can look in a different hive. So when you're done inspecting the hive, you move the frames to the middle. Any space that's big enough, the bees will fill with comb. So everything is sized to not give them that space and to encourage them to not stick things together too badly. All right, well that's good to see. I have a note on this hive that it has a queen, but I wanted to check to make sure she was still there, and I just did, so I'm going to take that note off.